Welcome to the channel. In today's video, we will continue our story about a man who ex-wife cheating, then showed up in front of his door sometime later with another man's child, asking for reconcile. In case you haven't seen part 1, I recommend you to watch it in our channel to understand the story. Let us begin. I hadn't done that earlier because Alex's parents didn't like me and blamed me, because they believed that I was the one who had driven their daughter crazy and made her act out like that. So she had told me that it would be better if I didn't visit her while she was living with them, since that would just lead to a lot of drama, and that's definitely the last thing that we needed. But I broke that rule and visited them anyway since she had been acting distant and blowing off counseling sessions. Even when she would show up occasionally, she would seem uninterested, and I just couldn't make sense of it. When I tried to talk to her in person, on the phone, or even on text, she would tell me that it was all fine, but I could make out from her behavior that there was certainly something that she was hiding from me. The day that I showed up at her parents' house, I expected her to be at home, but she wasn't there. When I asked her parents where she was, they told me that they weren't allowed to tell me and slammed the door shut in my face. I could tell that they were enjoying this, and I had a bad feeling about it. So I decided to call Alex while standing in front of her parents' house. I tried calling her several times, but she didn't pick up, and I was getting more and more paranoid by the second. So I decided to sneak around the house and somehow get inside by myself. I went around to the backyard because I knew that her parents usually kept the kitchen door open, but I didn't even need to go that far because I spotted Alex sitting on the swing that her parents had in their backyard. The bad news was that she was sitting with her back to me because she was making out with a man that I didn't recognize. It's been a long time since I saw them, but it's imprinted in my brain because it was the most horrible moment of my life, and I haven't been able to forget it even today. The guy that she was making out with drew back as soon as he saw me, and by the time Alex turned around, I had already started walking back to my car. She caught up with me and tried to stop me, but I wasn't hearing anything that she was saying because I was in shock. She tried to grab me, but I shook her off and told her not to touch me, so she didn't. I went back to my car and started driving back home. I blocked her everywhere as soon as I got home, so she wouldn't have a chance to explain, and told my parents that I wanted them to look for a lawyer for me and inform them of what I had just witnessed when I visited Alex's parents' house. I didn't see her or hear from her until we had to meet with the court-appointed mediator for our divorce settlement. I had pretty much turned into a robot by that point and was just functioning for the sake of my daughters, but I had completely shut down emotionally. I didn't feel anything even when I found out that Alex was terminating her parental rights because she had made up her mind that she didn't want to be with us anymore. That she wanted to be with the guy, let's call him Sean, that I saw her with the other day. He was her childhood friend, and while they had grown apart after high school ended, they had reconnected when she moved back in with her parents, and she had apparently fallen in love with him. Her parents also supported this, which is probably why they had been right about her making out with him in their backyard despite being a married woman with 2 kids. Apparently, they had always wanted her to end up with Sean, and they were happy that Alex was finally choosing herself and her own happiness, as if she had ever been capable of doing anything other than that. The divorce was a long process because even though she had been cheating on me, she still wanted to qualify for alimony. It took us a while, but my lawyer and I fought hard and made sure that she didn't get anything in the divorce because it was all rightfully mine since I had been the one paying for everything for so long, while she did nothing but watch television at home. It has been 5 years since the divorce finally came through, and we succeeded in our goal to make sure that she walked away with nothing. The months in which I was dealing with the divorce were some of the hardest times for me, but I knew that I couldn't break because I had to look after my daughters since they had nobody except for me. My parents were obviously really helpful and supportive, and I can't ever thank them enough for being there for me throughout while I juggled work and taking care of my kids. It has been 5 years since, and even though back then the divorce seemed like the worst thing that could possibly happen to me, I'm thankful for it now because I don't think I would have been in the place that I am today had it not been for my decision to leave Alex. Life has really treated me well since then, and I'm in a much, much better place now in every respect. We have since moved into a bigger house because I get paid better now, and I don't have to spend money on anyone, apart from myself and my daughters. My parents live close by and drop in from time to time as well. I have friends who love me, and my daughters are as happy as can be. That's all that a man needs, and I'm so thankful to the universe that It's all going well for me now. Or it was until Alex showed up again a few days ago. The kids were at school, and I was just about to leave for work when I opened the door. The doorbell rang, and Alex was standing outside with a boy beside her. The boy couldn't have been older than 3 or 4 years old, and I knew that this had to be Alex's son. I was taken by surprise when I saw her standing outside my door and was still trying to process it when she started crying and said that she was here to apologize and make things right with me. She told me that she was finally ready to be a family again and give our marriage another chance. I couldn't believe that she was back here after all these years, and now she wanted to give our marriage another chance like it was up to her to make that decision. Within a split second, I made up my mind and decided to shut the door and turn her away because I didn't want to get into whatever this was. But before that, I told her that this was not her family anymore. I had stopped being her husband the day she cheated on me with Sean. The divorce was just a legal obligation, and she herself had given up custody of her daughters, so now she had no right to refer to us as her family. After I said that, I shut the door and told her to go away because I didn't want her anywhere near my property. I would have cursed her out as well because I was really angry, but I refrained from doing it because of the little boy. I could hear her wailing outside my door for a couple of minutes after I shut it, but I decided to ignore it. And once I made sure that the coast was clear, I went off to work. I tried really hard not to think about it because that would just weaken my resolve, and I couldn't afford to let that happen. I almost succeeded in forgetting that Alex had even showed up at my house, but as soon as I came back home from work, I received a call from my parents demanding an explanation as to why I had turned her away. They told me that Alex had contacted them after I turned her away and slammed the door in her face, and she had been devastated. My parents said that they were the ones who had given her my new address and told her to visit me since she was in the process of getting divorced from Sean and finally had a chance to make things right with me. They told me that Alex had reached out to them about a month ago, and this had been in the works for quite some time. My parents believed that it was about time that I thought about my kids because my daughters needed a mother. And there was no better mother than Alex, so they decided that she deserved another chance and told her where to find me and what to say to me. I got really mad at them because it was not their place to forgive her and decide to give her another chance without even asking me if I would be okay with that. It could have been really bad if the kids had been at home, and it was really reckless of them to pull something like this. So I told them off, but they refused to acknowledge that they had made a mistake because they had helped me during my divorce by taking care of the kids, and even now, occasionally they do look after the kids, and they believe that whether or not I wanted to patch up with Alex was up to me. They had an equal right to decide what was best for the kids, and I couldn't take that away from them. I thought it was ridiculous of them to believe that because, at the end of the day, they were my daughters and not theirs. While I respected them and would always be thankful for what they did for me during my divorce, I don't think it was their place to let Alex back into my life again. We got into a bit of a fight, but they told me that I was the one who was out of line here and was being selfish by not giving Alex another chance. They told me that they had done their due diligence and were sure that she was a different woman now and deserved to be a part of my daughters' lives. Even when I reminded them that she had signed her rights away, they said that it was insulting, that I believed they would put my daughters or me in harm's way, and accused me of ruining their lives by being too arrogant to accept that they needed their mother. It's been a few days now, and I don't think I was out of line or selfish because I've thought about this a lot. I had to think about not giving my ex-wife a second chance at being a mother. That's the end of part of this story. What do you think of the story right now? Let us know in the comment sections, and I will see you in the next video.